Get Into Gates, another special Hairy Mailbag episode, boys. We've got the full Get Into Gate team here. My name is Mitch. We've got Maddie,
Yo.
Brendan,
Hello,
Reese,
Yeah, g'day, guys.
and Lincoln.
Hello, mate.
How you going, buddy?
Good, buddy.
Welcome.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, so Get Into Gates. If you're new to the show, this is usually when we sit down and we talk about one episode per week. We're introducing Reese, one of our team members. He's never seen it before. One episode per week. He's watching it with fresh eyes. The rest of us long-term fans. But this is another special episode where we're hearing from you guys. You write in, sometimes your reactions to the show, some questions you have about the operations, so behind-the-scenes sort of gear. It's the Hairy Mailbag episode, so we're just going to give answers to all the questions that have been coming in because, as we say, guys, our mailbag is really full.
It's full.
It's
needs
full.
emptying.
We need to empty our mailbag.
Last week we had a rank. Now we just need to empty our bag.
Absolutely.
You know?
So a whole other mix of feedback from whether it comes from the socials. We got some emails. We got some comments. We got some reviews and things. So
Twitter,
Insta, yep,
Patreon,
all the stuff,
all the places to get us.
So we're just going to go around and we're just going to answer the questions that you guys have asked.
I
it's
guess
what you want.
We should start though with obviously our last mailbag, which was pretty big. It was a pretty big one.
It was a big episode, which I was really worried about because a lot of it was around one particular question or feedback, an email that we got. But it was actually like I really enjoyed the episode.
I don't think it was mainly just the email. I think you were also saying, Mitch, of what things that you thought people or other listeners might be wondering.
Yeah.
So I think we got that across.
This
and stuff that I was wondering about too, which we clarified.
Yeah,
with
and
each
this is
other.
it was very
quote,
different for us
unquote,
too, so we weren't sure how well it would be taken. We weren't sure how people would enjoy it.
For all intents and purposes, it was our first negative feedback. But yeah, we addressed it so much because I actually did see it as an opportunity to answer a lot of questions about how I edit the show or when we upload the show, what kind of content and how we set out when we started this show, what did we envision it to be.
I liked it. It was more of a TED Talk, if anything.
A little bit. That was good fun.
Quite enlightening.
But
What did you learn,
though? The response to it, has been absolutely amazing. We were flooded with people just mounting, like just amazed at what we talked about, how we addressed it. They were just so positive about it. I got so many direct messages from people from the LGBT community thanking me for the way that I handled, some of the issues that were brought up in that. We all got so much love from everybody. It would really made me feel good. We felt good after. Because we were nervous about releasing an episode like that, so different.
Well,
from
it wasn't.
what
We
normally
didn't
do.
go out to get praise either. It wasn't.
No.
We just wanted to air our laundry, so to speak.
Well, and I was worried that people just think it was boring. They just think, "Oh God, stop talking about it already." But people really, people really did get behind us.
Well, it is, and it's who we are on this podcast really is who we are in real life. So,
Sorry about that. But
no one's more sorry than our respective partners.
Well, to be fair, though, I get edited out a fair bit
In real life.
in real life.
Yeah.
Here I can just
I
be myself.
I mentally edit you out all the time.
So here's a couple of responses from the what we're calling hate mail. This one's from Russell Kotajavi. He says, I was just listening to your Hairy Mailbag.
Everyone passed that okay? They're happy with that pronunciation?
Mate, I do this for a living. All right?
There was confidence.
Give me a name with 16 vowels. I'll tell you exactly how it's pronounced. I was just listening to your Hairy Mailbag episode. I just wanted to let you know that I like the way the podcast is. I don't want you guys to feel pressured into censoring or holding back because of criticism. I think the magic behind any creative process has to do with how free and genuine you guys are. Yes, I feel as if your podcast is a work of art. Stop it, Russ. You don't tell an artist how to make better art.
Absolutely.
You either like it or you don't.
I'll cut off my ear if I want to.
Absolutely. Another thing that Russell says is more Irish Maddie, please.
Boom.
So,
people.
it's got one response
We've
to it.
had a flood in from the Irish community saying, please don't do that.
Yeah.
They love the Irish.
No, Matty surveyed one guy and he said keep going on.
Yeah, he's obviously Irish too.
Survey
Russell Kotajavi.
Survey says, ding, 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 ding. Fiddle-dee potatoes.
Another one from Laura from Minnesota. Minnesota, obviously the home of O'Neill and RDA.
Oh,
great place. Laura
how
says...
did you know that, Reese?
Laura told me. Laura says, just listen to Mailbag Special 2. I love telling people that when my new boyfriend, now husband, first came over to my house, I was the one that had season 1 to 8 of SG1. Now we have the full set of SG1 Atlantis and watch it every couple of years.
No universe, I noticed.
Notice, yeah,
No
I was going to
universe?
say, no universe.
No universe or
I mean-
origins.
Origins.
That is the sign of a healthy
Oh, no,
relationship.
we don't even count origins in this room.
Sarah Bell,
Sarah.
one of our patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely massive props to you guys for the Mailbag episode. I feel like we're just tooting our own trumpet. Well, we're not tooting our own trumpet. Other people are doing that for
Yeah.
us.
It's always better when you get someone else to toot your trumpet for
Yeah,
you.
she says you did a fabulous job responding to it, particularly Maddie. So proud.
Thanks, Sarah.
So proud of you, typical Aussie blokes, shattering stereotypes and just being yourselves.
Just smashing that glass ceiling. Oh,
Absolutely.
I probably would have said
Yeah,
that.
mine's a mirror.
Well, you are newlywed, so that doesn't make sense.
And one last one here from.
Oh, you're still talking.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
no, and I'm done.
One last one from That's Done.
Hey guys, I got an iTunes review here,
Hey.
and please keep these coming because these are just fantastic. I'm
They do
loving
help
them.
a lot.
They do help, yeah, with getting out the word of Get Into Gate out to the iTunes public.
The masses.
This one is titled "Greatest Star Pod / Podgate." This is a 5-star review
English
from
their second language?
no, there's a slash there, so it's like
gotcha.
a star pod / Podgate.
I like
Podgate.
Whatever you want.
Podgate's not bad.
Whatever you
Podgate.
wanna call it.
Yeah. That's a cool name for a ship,
Why?
almost.
It's an Atlantis joke. You'll get it you'll get it about
Right.
3 years. It's fine.
Okay.
You'll be right.
And
This
you,
one,
and you want to punch Brendan as much as we do right now. It's fine.
Oh, I have one my whole life to do that.
This one's from Brad BD from the USA. 5 stars. Are you a fan of Stargate? Good. What about Gilmore Girls? Who cares? Listen to this podcast to support 4 great Aussie blokes, review a great show, and make a great commentary. So
There's so
thank
many
you,
I
Brad.
think,
So many
I
levels
think,
to
So
Brad.
good.
I think-
Brilliant.
did you say that's Brad BD?
Yes.
I know what that stands for.
I think that might be Brad Beatty from Patreon. From Patreon. We have
Oh.
Brad Beatty on Patreon.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Brad Beatty.
I
BD.
especially like the bit about Gilmore Girls. I don't know if you picked that up.
Oh, me too.
What did that say? What was that part?
That bit was like, are you a fan of Stargate? Good. What about Gilmore Girls? Who cares?
I love me some Gilmore Girls.
Oh no.
Oh, God. The Irish guy that loves Gilmore Girls.
Irish Maddie.
See, there's layers to Maddie, too. Ah! Actually, on that, we've got some Facebook message from Johnny Grimison.
Hey, Johnny Grimison.
Yeah, well, okay, hold it for a
Baby
second.
potatoes.
Tell that high pitch one, not even tell high pitch.
Wow.
Tell that guy with the high pitched voice.
Tell that high pitch
Can't
one
remember what his name
So
is.
not low pitch. Obviously, low pitch isn't welcome. All right.
to give me a shout out on the next show so I can feel the love from him and the rest of you guys. No accent is needed unless it's a good cross between British and Irish. Try that one high
Ooh.
pitch if you dare.
British and Irish.
So you're right. I'm a little bit.
Oh, Jesus. Get out of town.
I'm workshopping it. All right. Give me a second.
No customers to that workshop.
Hey. Hey, Johnny, I love you like a shamrock shake.
What the?
Shout out to Johnny Grimison. Because I'm hip hop and granny, remember?
Yeah, that was good. That was the best bit.
And,
Postman Pat?
No, he's Welsh. She's Welsh.
That's what it
I
sounded
love
like.
you, Johnny. You like a shamrock shake up my arse. I don't know. Thank you, Johnny. I'm going to workshop it, and I'll get back to you on that one, Johnny.
record your voice on your phone.
Yeah, give me a template to
and
work
just
off.
send it through.
Yeah,
Yes.
just so I know.
No, not
what...
to work off, just just to let us know.
But then I can imitate it. I'm a parrot. I can imitate things. You know? I can.
Do you know what I think? If you wanted to do that, watch some Game of Thrones characters. I reckon they'd
Oh,
probably. you know-
Littlefinger.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that chick
if
that
you
said,
do
you know
Littlefinger, you
nothing,
gotta
Jon
talk out
Snow.
of the
That
side
chick.
of your
you
mouth.
reckon?
Oh, you
Yeah.
know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Khaleesi. that kind of gear.
Yeah.
My queen.
Love that guy.
Hold on.
Speaking of things we excel at, a message from Jonas. Not that Jonas, but a Jonas we like. Thanks for butchering my last name in your mailbag special.
Oh,
Because we
was
must
low
have pronounced
pitch.
it Jonas Agurbo or Gerbo.
Yeah, that was low
It's
pitch.
a silent G. It's Aobo. Jonas Aobo.
Yeah, but we're in Australia, mate.
Yeah, so we pronounce everything.
If there's no apostrophe,
except for the A at the start of Australia.
Yeah. See?
And
You
the
just did
L.
it. Brilliant. Yeah,
Australia.
Australia.
Or the R in Melbourne. We
Or-
never pronounce the R in Melbourne.
Just our
either.
R's in
It's
most
Melbourne.
things.
Yeah, I hate when
Yeah.
Americans Melbourne, and I'm like, where's this
Melbourne.
R coming from? It's Melbin. Melbourne.
R's only in the bloody...
Yeah, good
At the start of a word, that's as best as we'll do
Yeah,
it. Because you think
Brisbane.
it's like
Yeah.
water,
For example.
car. It's just K-double-A.
Yeah.
Not C-A-R,
Car.
K-double-A.
Get in the car.
Car, danger,
Didn't,
water.
didn't Kia actually make a Kia car, like a Kia KAA?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did. It was a little,
But they're
little hatchback.
Asian.
Yeah, went off.
Yeah, but it was in Australia.
Sold a lot
It
of
was in
those.
Australia.
Kia.
In Australia.
Great people.
Absolutely. If
They want to
sponsor,
sponsor the show. Give us a free care.
get in contact.
So Jonas goes on. He says, just so you guys know, your podcast is amazing. Love your premise, Reese and all that. So I might even,
The rest of y'all don't get a shout out.
so I might even wait to watch Farscape. I've never seen it. Well, that's me
Great
included.
call.
You too,
Oh, yeah.
Reese. So
Nice.
just so I can feel how he felt or is feeling doing this slow marathon. I'm having difficulties following your slow pace of rewatching SG1 since I'm watching it on DVD as well. So it's
Blame Reese
almost
for that.
always 4 episodes at a time. Are you planning on doing SGU? That's SG Universe, of course, as well. I stopped after a few episodes in season 1. It hurt my eyes too much. And a quick question, maybe next time you go to the Box of Shame, go as low pitch. He wouldn't give a shit about anything.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you'd have to bring
Yeah.
him in though.
Low pitch would go crazy on the box of shame.
I know what you
but
mean
if you were
about
to go
go-
in as low pitch, you'd probably have like a me, myself, Irene moment where you start kicking the shit out of yourself for saying it.
Shoving a dildo in your own ass.
Vagiclean. Price check on Vagiclean.
Well, a couple of things on that. We have decided that we will do SG1 Atlantis and Universe.
Yeah, and can I say
It's just how.
an extension on that answer for a follow-up question a little bit later on that I've got from
Yeah.
Twitter.
So
Yeah, the how is the hardest part. Is we probably can't upload once we get to Atlantis, we don't have the time to record enough to upload like an Atlantis and an SG1 every week
In the same
Yeah.
week.
in
Yeah.
the same week. So we'd probably have to alternate, which would mean an SG1 one week, Atlantis the next week, then an
Yeah.
SG1.
So do we alternate or do
Yeah.
we do...
I mean, I said I was
don't
going to bring it up
Yeah.
later, but let's talk about it
Oh,
now.
sorry.
while we're on the subject, mate.
Oh, why
No, that's
why
pretty
put off what you can
All
do
right,
today, Mitchell?
Let's bring it up. So we got. Oh man, come on now! I've got the name I've got to pronounce. There's
Suck a dick.
okay. Dom Zisco, Tyszko. Tom Zisco. That's what
right,
you're
mate.
going with, right?
No one would have batted an
Said
eyelid.
with
Yeah.
confidence.
That's it.
Get in a gate. When you reach season 8 of SG1, will you begin alternating between it and Atlantis or finish SG1 completely before moving on? Now, this is something we've been talking about since even before we started the podcast. It was when it was just a premise that we sent around in our Facebook Messenger chat.
Yeah.
Now, Maddie,
We
you
didn't have to care about it back then.
No,
because
at all. Yeah, we didn't even know what-
We
we
didn't know if we'd
You're
make
like-
it to the end of season 1. So
Stargate Atlantis. I don't even know what Stargate SG1 is.
Yeah.
Let's- one thing at a time. Maddie, you call me all the time, and with absolute all justification, you call me Captain Chronology.
Oh, it's with love.
Yeah, absolutely, and I take that with love. Even if it's meant with hate, I take it as a badge of honour. Okay,
Never.
I wear that. I wear it.
Absolutely.
So for me, if it was up to me, and I've said this to you guys before, and we've said we'll shelve it for a couple of seasons and before we really start to talk about it. But now we're heading into season 5 next week.
Yeah.
So we're not...
So we've got a couple of years.
Because still got a
we
year
should
and a half.
nail this down now.
Still, we're close to what we were with season 1.
Start to make
would-
For me,
decisions.
I know that, as far as I know, obviously, Atlantis, got somewhat of a backdoor pilot within SG1 and
Don't say
seasons.
backdoor.
I'm sorry, within season 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple of things that I know of, and certainly you guys would know more, Brendan and Maddie Enling, that there are events that you get either references to in one show about
Yeah.
the other, so they do run concurrently as far as the
Yeah.
stories
It's
go.
not really that important, but they
No.
do mention where certain people are.
Yeah,
and
basically
it really
seasons 8, 9, and 10
Yeah.
overlap with
Yeah.
seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Most of it you can get by with, but there's a season 10 episode of SG1 that is. It's almost like a
You need
crossover with
Yeah.
Atlantis.
Right,
It's a complete
right.
crossover.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I don't think we'd be able to
Yeah.
do, like for Reese's benefit, I don't think we'd be able to do all of SG1 then go back
Yeah.
to
One
So
of
Atlantis.
our
that's
listeners-
definitely my vote. Is
We'll
once
have
we
to-
get there and we work out if there's like an SG1 episode and then chronologically 2 Atlantises, maybe we do that, or we go
Well, the
one
way,
for one.
the
that
way
aired.
it used to air, I think, would be nice.
We can air. I think airing would be
Yeah.
good.
Didn't one of our listeners a while ago send us a list of how it was.
Yeah.
Yes, I've still got
In
that
chronological
somewhere
order.
because it's like from season 8 and 9, I think it's you do an SG1, then you do it Atlantis, then you do an SG1, then you do Atlantis. But then for like
You do a double episode too.
No, and then season 10 and season 3, you actually start with Atlantis and then you do SG1 and all that kind of stuff. So if basically we just want everyone to just get in touch with us via whatever social media app you like.
Create some
and
sort
just
of
let us
poll.
know. Let us know what you guys
Do a
if that's the
spreadsheet.
way you want it. Yeah, do a
Well,
spreadsheet.
I might even knock up a spreadsheet.
I mean, Twitter polls never seem to go your way, so yeah, let's just do a spreadsheet.
Sorry, Farscape.
And I think back in the day
thinking
too, it
foothold.
was like, oh, what do we do? Because we obviously our SG1 podcasts are a Sunday staple. So do we keep that on a Sunday and then alternate that every week? So are we having an SG1 episode for those? For me, at this stage, I've only ever seen SG1. I've seen one episode of Atlantis. That's it. So if I'm only listening to our show to get an SG1 fix, do I want to wait 2 weeks? Or we threw in as an option when we were discussing it years ago, Atlantis on Wednesdays, SG1 on Sundays. Now that we're a little bit further on and we're thinking about our recording time and our editing time, maybe we'll stick to the once a
that
week.
there's-
But
Oh, it's just getting to gate
Now
on
that there's
Sundays, mate.
3 married men and 5 kids between the 3 of you. It's
And now
it's
there's
hard.
a mailbag on a Sunday.
Yeah. So
stop
out the
writing in how
window.
much you love us and we'll stop having to bring it up on the show, guys.
maybe Lincoln and
Please
I will
don't.
just do Atlantis.
Yeah.
Like, we got spare time. But you mean and
Oh, okay,
Sarah,
yeah,
we'll just
see
go
you
to
then.
Atlantis.
Yeah, don't.
Brendan
Yeah.
will happily leave
Yeah.
his kids at home.
Me, Mitch, and Brendan will do our own.
Yeah.
So he wins.
You guys do it. You
Hey, Lincoln, you want to come on ours?
No, we were just. Oh, it's cold. I just thought we'd have a married guys versus non-married guys podcast. So if you want a dog be like that, Link,
Oh,
that's
prejudice.
fine.
Yeah, Lincoln hasn't said one thing. Maddie's just, you want to talk?
And dropped in it.
Hey, I saw you give him a high five, not me. That,
Oh, it was a low five. It was a low
It
five.
was a bit of it was a low one.
It was a low five, Maddie.
All right. Well, I've got an email here. Moving right along. Hi guys, I'm an avid podcast listener and listen to everything from true crime to sport. I've recently started listening to TV show review podcasts as these bring back some terrific memories from my childhood. With Stargate, this seems to resonate with you all, except Reese, who is lucky enough to watch every episode as a first-time viewer.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed the very honest answers and comments you had about listeners' issues with the show in your last mailbag. Stargate is a terrific show and can be enjoyed by anybody despite religion, except if you're a Christian, sexual preference, I added that bit, gender, etc.
Righto, Marty Sheargold.
Sorry, Brendan. I know that's your gear.
It's my gear, stealing off other people.
Obviously, just muck around, have a bit of fun.
Yes,
What
there
else is boring?
Yes, there is some terrible writing for female characters, continuity errors, and Robert C. Cooper, but it teaches us, for the most part, what is the morally right thing to do. Human beings, as a race, are flawed, but as the Asgard have already told us, we have great potential. Keep up the brilliant work, guys. Thanks, Gerald. Oh, from England. He's from England. Hello.
Right.
Hello, Governor.
It's only all right if we do it, Maddie.
P.S.
You're right.
You guys are going to hate this even more. I won't do it in the accent. P.S. I don't like any of the Buffy podcasts currently out there. Maybe you could give it a shot once you finish with Atlantis.
Oh,
the
well, maybe
Universe.
Maddie and Lincoln can do that.
There's probably more of a chance of me and his girlfriend Sarah doing a Buffy podcast together, I think.
Probably.
And then Gaz does also say, PPS, you may already be aware what Master Braytag is up to nowadays, but you can find him working as a wizard, and he sent us a little link that we might try and put up. It's him as a wizard in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, I love it.
As in the band, the German band.
The beer.
What were they called?
Bud. Wizard. Yeah.
No, he's a wizard in a Bud Light commercial.
Well done, wizard. You are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly.
What would you have me do now, Your Majesty?
Turn that into Bud Light.
Which one's him?
The guy that you
Now
talked
turn
over.
that statue into Bud Light.
You know, Your Highness, I can do other things.
Audio.
I can put a
Every
curse
time
on
you
your
There you go.
talk.
Every time you talk,
He
is when he's
talks.
talking.
Yeah, well, see, this is
So,
what I don't know.
let's just put it up on socials. We'll move on.
No, it's good to have a video playing on a podcast.
I can hear it. I'm not looking at it.
There's
Well,
two
I mean-
people you do not talk over. One is Teal'c, the other is Braytac. God damn it, Reese, I love you,
It's
but no.
It's not Braytac. It's a f***ing wizard.
But it's a wizard Braytac.
It's a wizard Braytac.
Right.
Show
And
some
I've also
In
got,
respect.
It's like 160 years old now.
Yeah, but it's Buzz Light, you know.
I've got an
Bud Light.
It's not light.
Bud Light.
It's not
Bud Light.
light alcohol. It's light, on calories.
yeah.
Well, carbs.
Well, light, yeah, because light beer over here is fucking pussy drink. Might as
Yeah.
well drink non-alcoholic. Speaking of that, Carlton are bringing out a non-alcoholic beer. Did you see that?
What else is boring?
Yeah.
What about all the
Fucking
people
hell.
in an uproar because they're going to
save for the Gives the Brothers podcast.
it'll taste like beer, but it won't have alcoholic.
Yeah.
Won't have alcohol in it, and they're like,
the
oh,
point?
now it's going to be marketed towards kids, or not marketed towards, but kids will have access to it. And
Well,
it'll-
Coopers have a whole shelf with non-alcoholic
Yeah.
beer. At
Yeah.
What
Woolies.
name is it starts?
Macca's brought out a salad, for fuck's sake.
But beer tastes shit. It's like, isn't the whole point of beer? It tastes shit, but it gets you
Yeah,
drunk.
like Jim
Yeah.
That's why
Jeffries
people
when
drink
he goes, if someone ever says this is the reason they don't drink, just punch them until you can't lift your arm anymore. I hate when they go, this is Jim Jeffries, 'cause I hate when you ask them why they don't drink, and he goes, I don't like the taste of it. No one does! No one has a shot at the queue and goes, oh, that's lovely! I'll have that next time instead of pudding, it's so Moorish!
I love barley, yeast, and hops. It's such a wonderful combination. I've got an email here from our man Dan Pucci.
Pucci?
Pucci, he always likes to
Oh,
send us
Pucci.
some really loose stuff. So this is
Love it. I love it.
this just says RE Ep 85, which is Prodigy. I had to go and look
Yeah.
that up.
Oh, with that bitch.
Yeah, on the
The one before 86.
on the moon. So he's written us a little poem. Or might even be a haiku. Yeah, man, men, moon, boom, tomb, shoom. Good times, good episodes. He also goes on to say, you can disregard if you fancy, but how about setting up a phone booth / answering machine?
Yeah.
And this is something that we've been talking about. We're just trying to figure out
absolutely.
logistics of it. He says fans can call in and leave voice messages. God only knows what Dan would leave for us.
At least Matty to get an accent right every now and again.
If you weren't so right, I'd be hurt. He says, I imagine your base will be getting your dick sucked for a couple of episodes or so, but try and get them to leave their comments about the episodes you're reviewing.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see the different opinions knocking about there, especially the silly f***ers listening to this podcast. Also, Matty, pull your bloody socks up and give us what we want, you f***ing slag. You'll probably have to beep that.
That's all right.
A Star Trek podcast. Yes, high pitch warp speed.
Is that the name of the podcast?
I guess so.
Brilliant.
And it's with-
High pitch warp speed.
It's with
a
about-
Star Trek podcast.
It's about
Epic.
10 E's.
Epic.
Anyway, take it easy, chaps. Daniel Pucci. P.S. Maddie, you pronounce my name spot on. Yes! And I've attached a picture of my Star Trek tattoo. In brackets, he's written that's two. Apologies for the crap angle. I'm short and fat, so getting a picture of my forearm was a challenge. And we did mention the last time we read out something from Dan. He actually is moving to Brazil. So he says...
Dan.
Dan, yeah. And Brazil. My wife is a smoking hot Brazilian, so we're going to head out there and live a simpler life for a bit. Nowhere near Giant Jesus, locally known as El Gianto Jesuso. He says,
Don't know
I'll stop.
who that is.
Worldwide what?
I'll stop here, I think. I have longer, more boring stories if you like.
We do send them through.
Yeah.
So, just on that, if you do want to jump onto we haven't got a name for it yet, the answering machine, record yourself on your phone and email it to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Getintegate@gmail.com.
We do have one of them.
It's pretty easy. You just get on the voice recorder on your phone, record it.
Yeah, most.
And then I think there's like usually every app has the 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner. Click on that and click share
Yeah.
and then send an email.
And most phones have that voice recorder as a standard thing now, don't they? It's not like
Yeah,
an
absolutely.
app you've got
Yeah.
to.
And depending on what it is, we'll play it on air.
Yeah.
And I don't know we don't have a name for it. I think it's got to be Walters somehow. Like I feel like he would be, that line, the first point of contact between the
Yes.
outside world and the SGC coming toward us.
Yeah, let's brainstorm that. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, give it to me, Walter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's the segment right there. Give it to me,
Come on.
Walter.
Give it to me, Walter.
Oh, yeah.
He's
give it
giving
to
us
me, Walter.
messages.
You've got Walter. Colby sent us a message. Hey guys, 2 questions. 1, which Stargate character do you see being the most similar to another science fiction series character, or the actors being able to swap and both play the characters as
I've
you
got
know?
one.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Mitchell and John Crichton.
Oh, well done.
See what happened there?
Wow.
Do you have one?
Anise and 7 of 9.
Oh,
Oh,
Reese.
well done. You've
Wow.
never seen 7 of 9,
That's
but well
one.
done.
You crap on about her all the time. So.
Renee Aubergenois.
And that's
And
Space
Teal'c
Nazi.
And the Knox guy.
No, that's Quark. Quark is the Nox guy.
He says mine would be Teal'c to Worf.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. I like
Tilk
that.
dwarf.
That's the best one.
Pretty standard.
Michael
Imagine a
Dorn.
dwarf Tilk. That'd be
Dwarf.
sick.
Not dwarf.
Worf.
Worf.
W-O-R-F.
Yeah, but imagine a dwarf Tilk.
Yeah.
Mini me. I think
Stop popping the laser.
I think Lincoln's going to need a change of underwear.
Stop on being the staff weapon.
With one of the little mini stuff we've got from season 9.
What's like that? The pouch poacher thing? Like that would be his
Oh,
staff
yeah.
weapon, eh? Like
The little
runs
sardine
up.
ones from season 9.
no, but he doesn't know about that.
That's fine. Doesn't
Oh,
he
yeah.
know about it?
Yeah,
It's
you're
fine.
right. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I reckon even that'd be too. We're talking two fictional characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tilk and God. I reckon.
Oh, Kratos. God of War.
Double whammy.
Oh, I've got something on that. My next question here.
I could see a young Harrison Ford being O'Neill.
Oh, yeah.
Like an Indiana Jones style.
No, good
Now,
call.
Stargate. I need my family back.
You had to choose the one movie that he's like, can't stand. Damn it.
You don't like Air Force One?
Oh, it's shit.
Oh, it's so good. The president rescuing his own plane midair from Russian
Brilliant.
terrorists, played by Gary Oldman. Who the f*** are you?
Just Google Joss Whedon Air Force One. That's all
Okay.
I need to.
Oh, God. What's he going to complain? Oh, Empire sucks because it's not a good ending. F*** off, Joss. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Firefly was a shit ending too.
Never seen it.
Yeah, no one did, clearly. That's a soft spot on Matty. I actually feel bad now. It's like I've kicked a puppy.
Don't even need to open the box of shame.
Question number 2 from Colby. That was all from question number 1. Besides Stargate material, what are your top all-time or current sci-fi series or movies? Now, I know we did
Turn my
address this.
microphone off. Turn it off now.
Also, what earns them your spots or any background you want to share as to why?
I reckon Matty doesn't get a box of shame for this because it is a question.
Yeah, fair call.
Well,
For me,
obviously.
I'm watching.
We know what it is. So
Box of shame,
I guess move on.
Got you. Yeah, no, I think I've banged on about it. I've watched Travellers recently and Altered Carbon.
Oh,
I finished Travelers a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago.
what'd you think?
Season
Jesus
1 was better
Christ.
than Season 2. Season 2 lost me a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the same with you. But season 3's coming out soon.
Oh, no, I thought it was canned.
No.
no.
What am I thinking
Brad
of
got
then?
on Twitter and just they skyrocketed that shit.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good
I
because it was
drove
left.
that.
It was a little bit of an open
Obviously.
ending. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll watch it. It's interesting. It's a bit slow.
Yeah, I thought it was
But-
a bit slow.
The now Mitch and Brendan, you guys haven't seen any of Travelers yet, have you?
No.
Yes, I have, mate.
Oh, okay. Well, you'd know then. Obviously, there's a little bit of
That's why I
a.
said it's a bit slow. I've
Yeah.
seen season 1.
I
watched
did you,
the
Did you
first
get a
episode
little
of-
bit of the Ancient Stone crossover, like a little bit of
Yeah,
Stargate
a
sort
little.
of thing? Once I kind of locked onto that it was kind of the same premise that they use in Universe. I was like, oh, he's kind of retreading it, but there is the time
Yeah.
travel element of it, which is
I
interesting.
hated that about Universe too, by the way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the hard time I had about Travelers. But if they'd explored that more, it would be good. But I
Yeah.
think in Travelers season 2, it got a little bit bogged down. For
Have you
me.
watched that new Matt Groening one?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Disenchantment.
Not
Was it?
great.
Oh, I got about 4 episodes
Yeah,
in
me
and had to
too.
take a break. There's only
yeah.
10 or 11. And then some idiot on YouTube, I watched this thing, and it's like, oh, is it worth the watch? So I watched it, and 30 seconds in, she spoils the ending of the season. And I'm
What?
just like, you
Yeah.
mole. I even left a dirty comment.
Name and shame.
And I don't remember her name. I ignored her that much. And she even apologized. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The person who uploads the videos didn't put the spoiler warning on their blog. And I was like,
Person
"Look,
is you.
it's too fucking late for that. Too fucking late for that. So,
We'll find her.
Just figure it
Name
out.
and shame.
yeah. If I
Yeah,
could
I
be bothered
thought
going
the,
back my
um,
YouTube history, but
the
there's some
de-
weird
I thought
stuff
the
there,
whole-
so let's not.
I thought the whole demon character was too much of a forced bender for me.
Well, see, he was the
Yeah.
most interesting part of the show for
Yeah,
me.
but
was
to me
the
it was
demon.
just like Bender
But
times
then-
10 with
But
no...
then the elf is basically dressed as Bart Simpson, so I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I want good Matt Groening, I'll go back to Futurama. I
Yeah.
love that show.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Futurama is probably for me the best animated sci-fi that exists.
Yeah. Probably not.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
How
it
can you
is.
go past 28 seasons of The Simpsons?
You stop at about season 10.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen past that.
What about the Lewis Boys? What's your sci-fi choice?
Lick my balls. Wubba lubba dub dub.
Wubba lubba dub dub!
Big reveal. I'm a pickle.
Get Swifty!
Funny more where that came from.
Yeah, I know it. Like, when I've seen all the episodes. Like, I've watched them all. Some of them twice because I'm like, yeah.
I don't know, like, because I feel like, oh yeah, we love our sci-fi, but if I sit there and try and think of all the sci-fi television that we would have watched growing up, certainly while we lived together, and now that we're not, I don't. I'm trying to think of. I know I banged on about it. We put it in our Twitter questions a few weeks ago. Sliders.
Yeah, obviously.
You know,
Great show.
When I
It's a
think
gateway
of you
to
two,
Stargate,
though,
yeah.
outside of Stargate, I think of you guys as more movie guys than TV guys. When it comes to like sci-fi, actiony kind of stuff, you guys, I feel like will go and watch a movie more than you'll sit down and watch an episode of television.
yeah, and see, you would say that, and I would be like, no, I don't. But then you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more of a movie watcher because I think of myself. Do you love sci-fi TV? Absolutely. What have you watched?
Stargate.
Well, I mean, Stargate, obviously,
Yeah.
and then
Best
you know,
one.
Star Wars.
you know,
Season
Movie.
40,000 of the Blantyverse.
Yuck.
X-Files. I'm actually a big fan of X-Files. I still
Oh,
haven't
great
seen the
show.
entirety of the
I never got
X-Files,
into
but
X-Files as a kid.
yeah,
neither.
I never want. Like, I think it was on a lot earlier than I was old enough to watch it. You know, when in its first run, and then one of the networks in Australia bought it from the other one, and they started replaying it every night during the week. And I would get home from work, or it was probably in this time of my life where you go to bed at 3 and wake up at 11, and so it was prime time sitting there watching it. An episode a night. I watched the first season. I'm like, this is awesome. I actually really got into it. Bought like all the seasons on DVD and all that. And I've still only probably seen half of it, I reckon. But I would like to go back and watch the X-Files because I really got into that. Like, it's not galactic and traveling and all that sort of shit. But as far as a sci-fi TV show, it's a bit cliche. But I love the X-Files.
Didn't you used to watch one? Was it like Dark
I
Angel?
was just about to say that, mother.
Yeah,
bruh.
Because I remember
I love
we're
Dark
mates.
Angel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have it on DVD. I fucking love
Yeah.
Dark Angel.
Hell yeah.
Because I remember,
Hell yeah.
I remember when I went with you guys to Nambucca one time for your family holiday, and you're like, it was on TV, and you're like, dude, there's this mad show, Dark Angel. I'll chuck it on. Just watch this, man. You'll love it. And then, like, came to the first ad break, and you turned to me, and you're like, it will get better.
Yeah.
And then it got to the end of the episode, and you're like, look. Believe me, that was a really bad episode, but I swear to God, this series
What's
is awesome.
Stargate? What's this episode called? The
There was
Light.
no window of opportunity for a Dark Angel. Let's say that.
It was on TV at the time. We had to settle for it.
Was it like the fish mermaid episode? Because that's a pretty bad one.
I don't
It was
know.
something to do with a werewolf or like
a big dog. It was like when Joshua came in. That
Can I blow
actor.
your mind? That actor, Dog
I know.
Boy.
I know.
What
I
else
was
is
in the
boring,
gym
Mitch?
when you guys were talking about that. and I was
that's I never
the
watched it
partner.
religiously.
That's the partner.
Yep, Lord's a partner with his little skirt.
That's
and
right.
Like, his little teleball underneath.
Whenever you
it.
guys used to talk about Dark Angel, I always thought you were into Angel, like the Buffy spin-off, and I'm like, oh yeah,
that's
no
good.
thanks.
Buffy and Angel
Jessica
are
Alba,
really good.
dude, genetically engineered humans.
With the dude from Supernatural, Jensen Ackles.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Really, really
they
good.
And Michael Weatherly from NCIS.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
Well, they actually got
He was at
engaged
Oracle.
because of them
Who?
two, Jessica Alba
Weatherly.
and Michael Weatherly. They
Weatherly,
were
did they?
Really?
I think
They're
they got
engaged.
married, or they just engaged.
No, just engaged. I don't
Well,
think they
anyway,
got married.
yeah, she
Fun thing to do in Hollywood.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
So
Ring on it,
Supernatural.
temporarily.
yeah, I just really like.
No, I love Supernatural. Awesome.
The first 5 seasons are right, but after that, that's when
See-
that's when the creator wrapped up the show. He went,
Yeah.
I only want the show to go for 5 seasons. So
Eric Kripke.
he wrapped it up.
He wrapped it up,
And
and, it
then
was a
CW
nice,
went-
neat little bundle.
Yeah, then the CW went, nah, it's making too much money, and
Yeah,
now
they
they're
got-
in like season 4000.
Yeah.
I think it's season 14 or something they're about to
Yeah,
start.
12 came out on Blu-ray. I'm just going, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that far ahead.
Imagine
but
the royalties they'll be getting from that show.
Yeah.
Forever.
They're f***ing the
Once
money
they hit
they're on.
7, I think they go to syndication, and then after that, it's just like they're
Yeah.
getting money. Like,
The other guy, not Jensen Ackles, the other guy?
Castiel.
No.
Jared
Sam.
Padalecki.
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
Got his start in
And-
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, Jesus.
They're
Who cares?
Who cares?
Now, it's not technically a sci-fi show, but it does have a great... I do love it. It's an animated show, and it does have a great little reference here that I think is appropriate for us here today.
You think you're going? Oh, sorry, I gotta get back to Earth before the Stargate closes. Get back in here. Mother, the chevrons are locking.
Is that Archer?
That's Archer. I fucking love Archer so much.
That's a cartoon?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's you guys love it, the Lewises, because it's he's a spy, he's a secret agent. So it's this
You guys love secret agents.
You guys love your Bond stuff. It's really, really good. Again, it's a better animated show than Rick and Morty as well. So
Not possible.
Nah, wouldn't have thought so. For me, I love Stargate is my most favourite.
The ultimate.
But apart from that, when I'm watching it, Farscape is totally up there with
it's
it.
good.
I
Really
love it
good.
so hard.
And Solid doesn't taper off.
No, it doesn't.
Like, only got 4 seasons in a movie, but it doesn't
It just
taper like
builds
some TV shows
and
do.
builds and builds, and you're like, how did they write this thing? It's
Really
amazing.
good. Really.
I never watched Doctor Who, but when they had the spin-off start, Torchwood, I actually watched the first little bit of that, and I quite liked it.
I tried, but the first episode I watched was like a bionic woman, and she came out with like empty toilet roll holders stuck to the side of her head that were painted silver, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it is a bit wacky.
I
Like
get what they're
that.
doing. That's like an English thing, but I'm like, nah, I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm started on Doctor Who, like the reboot, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
From season 2, when I forget his name, from Jessica Jones,
David Tennant.
when he starts, and it's pretty sweet.
Was he not the reboot? Was there someone?
No, it
before
was
he
like Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, he was the first.
Oh,
for
that's
one
right.
season.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So the transformation of the Doctors, that was cool to see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, starting to get into that. And now also I'm on season 7 of The Next Generation on my first watch.
Oh, good, because I just want you to hurry up and get through it, because I'm dying for you to start DS9. I really think you will love DS9.
I'm probably going to just watch 15 episodes of Supernatural, seasons of Supernatural, and then I'll come back to DS9.
No, dude, you've saved like the best for last. Like,
See, I
I thought you liked Voyager the most.
I do, because it was my introduction to Star Trek,
Right.
so I always have a soft spot for it. But in terms of storytelling and character arcs, DS9 does actually shit all over Voyager in terms of that.
okay.
It's not standalone episodes like Voyager and Next Generation are standalone episodes.
Yeah.
DS9 is like full season arcs.
Cool.
It's amazing and super dark.
Let's talk about Dark
mate.
Angel for 10
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
Rather that than Star Trek.
Let's talk
Come
about
on.
Will and Grace.
I hate the idea of watching Jessica Alba run around in tight leather for 40 minutes a week.
God, don't even get me started.
Doing that scene from Entrapment where she's going under the laser level. It's terrible.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You don't want to even bother.
I've never
I'd
really
rather
watched.
Patrick Stewart in a cardigan. Thanks.
Oh, no, you're right. You raise a good argument.
Just pulling down on the waist strap.
I've never,
Number 1.
I've never really watched too many sci-fi TV shows.
No, we
That's
know.
right. You were too busy having sex, weren't you?
Yeah,
With,
Yeah.
doesn't either or.
not prejudice.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes at the same time. I mean, if you,
I'm not
if
even
you're lucky.
sure
What was
if
it
I
on
can
that
make
movie?
jokes
That movie
anymore.
Paul, Seth Rogen's the voice of the alien.
Yeah.
Paul, and he's like, when he's asking if the two dudes are gay or whatever, and he's like, totally cool if you are. Everyone's bi on my planet. I mean, it's all about the pleasure thing.
I think that is the first time anyone's ever referenced Paul, and I love it.
So good.
Mate, you need to hang out with Lincoln and I.
Who has ever quoted Paul before? Ever?
I haven't
That's
even
awesome.
seen it.
That is.
Paul
Good
and,
fun.
That was a good flick.
and the movie The Watch. You ever see that? It was
I
like,
don't think I got to the watch.
oh god, it was funny. I like that.
I didn't overall like the movie, but I quote a lot of what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Mainly the English bloke,
Yeah.
Richard Ayoade.
Awesome dude.
Yeah, Brendan, you mentioned something before. We said the word Kratos. Kratos?
Yes. God of War, Kratos.
Ah, yes.
There's a message here from Jason Holiday. Hi there, guys. Just wanted it could be so good. Just wanted to let you know that your podcast makes my Monday morning commute something I actually look forward to now.
Oh, yeah,
stop.
baby.
That's ultimate compliment.
Monday suck. Here's a video of Chris Judge doing dad jokes as the God of War.
Oh, that's appropriate. It was Father's Day last weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend before?
Weekend before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am terrified of elevators. I'm going to start taking steps to avoid them.
Is that a video?
Crank it, bitch. Yeah.
I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me. What, Atreus, is brown and sticky? A stick.
He's got the best laugh.
Yeah.
Only fire when I tell you to fire.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I am Dad.
Wonderful,
that's
Chris.
Great.
Don't tell him it was awful.
He's Chris Judge.
I got a 5-star Facebook review here from Greta Neal. Love it.
Greta.
It's really enlightening.
Well,
Well, mostly.
Some of us are.
Troy Milligan says, fantastic podcast, 5 stars. Funny and entertaining. I'm happy to know that the Stargate franchise is alive and well. Eric Fusco also 5-star review.
Hey, Eddie Fusco, your mother.
Eric.
Time.
Eric.
It's my buddy Eddie.
In my opinion, the best episode by episode Stargate review podcast hosted by Aussies.
That's a niche.
what a market.
Absolutely. Killing it here.
We've literally cornered the market on that.
A 1-star review from Sherry
hang on.
Tate.
Is
Hey,
this our
that's,
first?
that's our first review below 4 stars.
I think it's an honest mistake. Sherry's just simply
Surely.
Of course it is.
Couldn't be
simply
real.
ticked. Didn't realise she had to click 5. Sherry, if you could go back and edit that. Because she's written, I love Stargate. It's my favourite show. And I can... It's cut off.
Yeah, right below it, above our heads, it says, I love Stargate. It's my favourite show, and I can watch it every day.
Okay. Harry Palmer's written to us. Literally just discovered you guys, starting the podcast from the beginning. Might have caught up by Christmas. And one of us has written back, great to have you along for the ride. We apologise for anything you may come across in the binge. I don't apologise.
That sounds like Mitch. He's always apologetic.
Yeah, but
so-
I said that with extreme sarcasm and jest.
There was an emoji at
Not
the
the
end.
way I've read it.
Probably not the way he took it either.
Oh, if you want to become a patron, Gibson Brothers
Absolutely.
Podcast.
Jump on board.
Yeah.
We're not apologising for anything that we say.
If you don't like it, you can get fucked.
Yeah, it's your own fault for listening to it if you get offended.
Good call.
Yeah,
like we
absolutely.
said it at the start.
Yeah, we-
Absolutely what it is.
Our aim
it's
is to offend.
subscription offence. Like, you can't find it
Like,
offensive.
yeah, don't get angry.
And 5
You don't
stars
like it.
from Matt Cormack on a Facebook.
Matt Cormack.
Cormack.
That's not 5 stars. It's a recommendation. It's a new thing Facebook are doing these days.
Look, Matt Cormack recommends us to all the Stargate lovers out there. Awesome bunch of lads. Never a dull moment. One all Stargate fans should follow with.
Thanks,
Nice.
Matt. One of our favourite Scotsmen.
I got a question here from Tom Regal on. He's slipped
Shoot.
me a DM. No, not really. Not me. Not me
Slid in.
personally.
Not personally.
He says, if they rebooted Stargate, or if they started a new series of Stargate, where would we want it to be from? I'm paraphrasing here because I forgot to write it down, but it was a great question. Where would we want it to start from?
So, if they started
what would
a
we
new
want
series,
from a new series? Yeah,
Mm.
not so much a reboot.
No.
It'd be a
fuck
prequel.
reboots.
Uh,
Between-
stop trying to make us angry.
between Origins and SG-1.
It's a prequel showing you the original crew of the Destiny. F off.
They're dead.
I think it'd have to be what Stargate intended to do at the beginning of season 8, where they're actually going to rename it from Stargate SG-1 to Stargate Command.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. Have it still in Cheyenne Mountain. Teams going off
Well, I
world.
was thinking about
maybe
that.
rotating teams. Maybe it's not SG-1. Maybe it's you following other teams. A bit, Black Mirror, where it's like a different team every episode,
Yeah.
following things through.
And I
That'd
think
be
with
cool,
that,
yeah.
you could almost have your cross universes within your own universe
Yeah,
in the sense that like
absolutely.
you could have an SG2 member pop up in an SG7 episode.
You could have an
but that makes sense for
Atlanta
the show.
storyline.
Have-
It's still called Stargate.
Have O'Neill pop up for an
Command.
episode. Have Carter pop up for an episode.
Yeah.
Catch up on what they've been up to.
Oh, they've got to come back
since
from the
show.
dead. Am I right, Reese?
Hey.
Or I know.
Dude.
Maybe
Yeah.
show
you.
one of the many SG-11 funerals. I don't know, like
Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
episode on
absolutely.
eulogies and
Just a whole
God.
season of wakes.
Because when the whole Stargate Now campaign was in its prime a while ago, in its first wave, Brad Wright actually tweeted and said the reason SG-1 worked it was because it was in the current
Yeah,
in the
set today.
present time, which was obviously a response to Stargate Origins. So
we'd like to think so.
I definitely agree with him because
Yeah.
you know, obviously when you bring in, you know, World War II type of stuff, none of us can relate to it because we weren't there. Whereas you bring in the today, then yes, we can relate. It incorporates everything that's that we know.
Well, and it can go anywhere. If you're doing a prequel, you're locked in. You're locked into certain events that you have to write
certain
around.
time frame,
and we know that's one of the reasons, the problems I have with Discovery is it's butting right up against canon.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know where things are going to happen. There's going to be so much stuff. So it's like...
unless you do it correct, unless you do it like you know, Back to the Future or, you know, the Terminator movie where Schwarzenegger's fighting himself from the past and that sort of thing, where everything ties in very neatly.
Yeah.
Then it's
no
awesome,
one liked
but
that movie.
I loved it.
I actually didn't mind it.
I mean, as a whole,
Yeah, there were
it got fucking annihilated.
Everyone loves
as a
Han
whole,
Solo.
did get annihilated, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I just remember him fighting himself. I'm like, that
did
is
look
cool.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
No, I'm the same. I think I would have a show, pick up now, because that's what I love about Stargate. It's not like, say, Star Trek, it's set in the future, and Star Wars, it's in another galaxy, you know, thousands, millions
far
of years
away.
ago or whatever. But the idea of, like, what would we do if we had this, like, very advanced but ancient piece of technology with modern day, like, tube computers and stuff, and we're having to run it
When
on,
are we
like,
going to
dial-up
get to
internet and
see
shit.
the episode that's alluded to at the end of 1969 where everything's covered in white sheets
That's
and
what
there's
I'm going to say, right?
yeah.
Because, like, for me, like, you pick up the modern day, this new season, if it is SGC, the Stargate Command series starts, and everything's locked up. Like, the Cheyenne Mountain is no longer in activity. The Stargate program doesn't exist, and I'm seeing, you know, people walking through rooms with sheets over everything. And maybe that's not a good, because why would we have shut it down post SG1 Atlantis?
Or the flip
universe?
side, like
Blah, blah,
2010,
blah.
where the program's been exposed.
Yeah.
And
But
there's
for me,
a
it's like-
Stargate in like a
Yeah.
travel terminal.
I would want to know too much about those stories that happened, like what nothing interesting happened in the last 15 years
But
that's worth
there's
making an
there's a
episode
cool-
about.
there's a-
And because of 69, why is it shut down in the future? Why are there sheets hanging over the gate?
I'll tell you.
At the
How
end
does
of
she
the 21st
recognise
century.
Cassie 70 years later?
Yeah,
Says
so,
vernacular.
but I do love the idea of, and you could have like a 10 episode arc, say, of different. If it is Stargate Command, you have an SG2 go and make contact with an alien race, but then they realize they need the diplomacy team, so you send in SG6 to do it. But then, oh shit, no, we need the military team. Get SG4 in, you know, like, and then you're following different characters.
It was cool in Atlantis because they didn't have a SG1 team. They did have the main group, the main away team, but they also had other groups, like Major Lauren was really cool.
Yeah, Lorne was
and
cool.
then you're like, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of different characters that are around and about, and it wasn't just about those 4 characters, and you had to stay with it.
And then they kind of went too far with the universe by having a big group of people. There was no kind of assigned
no
team.
one gave a fuck about.
That's it, because it was too far removed from what we love about Stargate. And I understand why they did it, but it was kind of just like there was too many characters and half of them you didn't give a shit about. So it was.
How can
yeah.
you belong to a team that doesn't exist as a viewer?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And they weren't meant to be there. Like the premise of it is us 5
pan flute that.
fuck off somewhere and are stuck on a ship forever. Basically, that's the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, well, you have no Carter who knows what the fuck they're doing. It's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
basically.
And it's like
perfect way of describing.
when we get to McKay, it's like McKay is a fuckhead, and he knows everything, and he's arrogant about it.
Yeah.
But he's still a good guy in his core.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, and for me, it's like you get to Rush in universe, and he's just a.
Yeah,
like
but
there's no redeeming factor about
he's
him.
actually my favorite character in universe because you can tell he's frustrated. He's so frustrated with all these kids around him. They're not meant to be there. That's why he's so annoyed. I'm like, actually, I agree with your annoyance because these guys are shit.
But he signs on to a military program and then says military, and it's like, mate, if you're smart enough. But Ming-Na Wen's in it, who's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment.
Gesundheit.
She's amazing.
The too far removed thing is that
You racist.
No, see, just to wrap up on the Stargate thing, is without giving too much away to Reese, I think that they had potential to further on from the end of Atlantis.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's
So because that opened up a whole new realm of possibilities.
Well,
That
Atlantis
affects
was
not
supposed
only-
to get a
Well,
movie. It was supposed to get a movie like Ark of Truth.
Well,
and
mate,
Continuum.
it's got some comic books. We can read that.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it's like,
Send them in.
again, we're not even giving anything away to Reese, but it's like with what happened at the end of that series, opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for both for Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, both shows.
For everything.
There's a lot of fan fiction out there, and to be honest, I haven't read it, and shout out to people who have, but I don't think it should be in the chronology and should be in the canon of the shows.
Well, it's a bit like Star Wars, right? Like, once you had Return of the Jedi, we were never getting more Star Wars, so they wrote books and like hundreds of books, right?
Yeah.
And then when Disney bought it in 2012 or whatever, and they said, okay, all the expanded universe stuff, that's not canon anymore, and people kicked up a stink, and it's like, yeah, but if we kept that, Chewbacca got killed by a moon falling on him. Like, do we want to keep that in canon? You know, like, we can take elements out. But you saying before about universe, Matty, like, it's Stargate, great, but it's too far removed from what Stargate was to be for us to love it.
Battlestar Galactica came out, and it was
they tried
and
to
gone, let's do that.
And that's the thing. It's
and
like
it didn't work.
That works for that world, right? And on the Star Wars thing as well, like when they go, we're going to make a Han Solo movie, and then the fans go, don't give a shit. We already know Han Solo. Don't make a movie about him. Make something about something else. And
don't do prequels.
But no, but the thing is, you get the sweaties, and they say, go to the Outer Rim. You know, go somewhere where there isn't Jedi, there isn't Force, there isn't the Empire. Tell stories there. And I'm like, hang on. They go, there's such a big universe, such a big galaxy, and I'm like, yeah, but if you're not telling a story,
and then we get Solo, a Star Wars
no,
story.
no, that's what I'm saying. That they don't want Solo because it is too close to everything we already know, or Rogue One and thing. They want stories in the Outer Rim. But if you don't have the Empire, and you don't have Jedi, and you don't have the Force, and you don't have any character that we've ever known, okay, sure, it's set in the same galaxy, but it's not Star Wars. Yeah. Here's a story about this brother and sister, and they're stealing from this person to get blah to move blah. Like, it's like, great, that's just a sci-fi movie. Yeah. You may as well say that Battlestar Galactica is set in the Star Wars universe, but hundreds of millions of years in the future. Like, what difference does it make? It could be anything, you know. Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. That's in the Star Wars universe, but there's just no Force or Jedi. It's like, you got to keep it close enough.
Star Wars is the battle between the Empire and the Rebellion.
The light side of the dark side of the Force.
Even in the sequel trilogy, and there's a lot that I like about it, but I don't want them to completely write off the fact that there's Sith. I want the Sith to come back. I don't want people to just believe in the dark side, but we're not technically Sith, you know, like, bring it, you know, you've got to stick within a certain sandbox.
We're the Knights of Ren. We're so intimidating. No, we're not.
There was a cool
we're
part
one
of
whingy
Rebels.
bitch with a scar on his face.
But if he's like the idea that he's not a Sith and neither is Snoke, it's like, but if he comes out in number 9, he goes, no, my grandfather was a Sith, I'm going to become full hardcore Sith. It's like, thank God you're not just someone going, we're referencing the Sith, but I just want to be a dark side user. It's become a Sith.
Yeah, 100%. No, there was this cool episode. There was this cool episode of Star Wars Rebels where the main dude, the Kanan or whatever, he takes the kid to, it's a Sith planet. It's an old dead Sith planet, and they go, and he falls through this crevice. Whatever it is, he falls through this thing, it's underground, and there's a giant pyramid temple kind of thing. Anyway, there's just bodies that look like what country is it where the volcano erupted and they're all still like trapped in ash?
Pompeii.
Yes, they all look like Pompeii sort of thing. Except some people are like frozen while still fighting, and others are dead on the ground. And there is hundreds, if not thousands, of scattered bodies, and they're like a great battle took place here, and all of their lightsabers are still by them, and all that kind of shit. So they pick up
still
one.
On.
Imagine that! Imagine that!
Awesome.
But there's like all
lighting up
these
the place.
different versions of lightsaber handles everywhere, like Sith ones, Jedi ones, and that in itself, that one episode, you're like, there's so much that could be done with that. It's like, I want to know that story.
But then at the end,
Knights of the Old Republic.
At the end of the episode, you see a TIE fighter descend from the sky with Darth Vader standing atop it, piloting it with the Force, holding out his lightsaber with his cape flowing majestically.
Epic.
I came when I saw that.
Give me the only prequel I'll ever have is a Vader prequel. Give me a Vader prequel.
Yeah.
That was
just
that was the prequels.
That
was episode 1, 2, and 3, man. They gave you 3.
A Vader one, not an Anakin Skywalker one.
Not a confused boy who just got like coerced by a creepy old man.
After he's been burnt,
took a lot of the evil about what Darth Vader was. I'm
That
looking at
last
him
5
going,
minutes
you're
of
just
Rogue
confused.
One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So much better than the whole prequels.
Stuff that I missed.
Yeah. It's time to find out if Reese has been paying attention. Right. Season 4 trivia time. Didn't get time last week. So basically, this is from the whole season.
All right.
Because we're starting season 5 next episode.
Mitch, get that "Your Father Made You Wrong" audio ready.
I don't know. These are all gimmies, to be honest.
You never wear that bright. I like that one. That's a good one.
Okay. In the opening episode, Small Victories, opening season 4 episode, SG-1 are visited by the Asgard. How does Sam Carter help them?
She blows up the O'Neill ship.
Correct. What do the Tok'ra ask SG-1 to do in upgrades, to test in upgrades?
Oh, the arm things.
Correct. How did
Well said.
Jack and Sam convince the Tok'ra they are not Zatarks?
They told the truth. They love each other.
Correct. What race were the first hosts of the Goa'uld?
Unas.
Correct. Daniel loses his ex-girlfriend, Sarah Gardner. Which Goa'uld takes her as a host? Oh,
So much confidence shown.
Osiris.
Maddie in the corner.
Osiris.
Osiris.
Oh,
Man,
in the curse.
How's Maddie just suddenly
That's
You'll never
erased in
get
my
it.
You'll
mind.
never get it.
You won't get
Big name question. He'll never get it.
Anyway, this is what Daniel Jackson reckons of you, buddy.
So close.
Reese, your father made you wrong.
You stupid son of a bitch.
I can't wait till
Never
we get to
ruined
that
that,
actual
right?
episode. It's going to be so
It's going to be great.
All right, that is
so
our...
close. The time was running out. I'm like, hurry up and finish the question, you idiot.
The clock doesn't matter.
We all know this.
That is our post-season 4 mailbag. Thank you, everyone, for getting in touch. And if we sat here and read the entire mailbag, we'd be here for another season. So we'll
Thank
pepper
you,
them through.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for getting in touch. And some really good stuff that we got to today. Some other good stuff that we didn't have time to. So we'll do that in the next couple of episodes. If you want to get in touch with us, though, you can send us the long-form email stuff, getintogate@gmail.com. Hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or if you want to join the show, support the show, suggest some stuff to the show, jump on board patreon.com/getintogate.
We did run out of time for our big reveal, so we will do that next week. Our Patreon members will know what that's about,
Yep.
but if all our Facebook followers and stuff like that, you'll find out about that next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a big, big change for Season 5 of SG-1 as we move along, and you'll want to be a
Huge.
part of it if you're not already.
Huge.
Huge. The best season yet. No
A
season
lot of
does it
people
better.
talking about it. It's the best season.
It's so good, we may get indicted.
Myself, Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Maddie, where you at?
Under Link Lewis, at High Pitch Maddie.
Oh! Brendan.
At the Bren Gibson.
And Reeks.
I'm at the Flying Gibson.
We'll see you back next weekend for Season 5, Episode 1, Enemies on Get Into Gate.
GetIntoGeek.com.